that it is available for replay. You guys can go back and watch it at any point in time. And we're going to make this available to all of our members. And then any slides, all the slides I'll make available to you guys if you want them. I've got a list of FAQs for Zoom that cover a lot of the free version and also some aspects of the pro version and webinar versions. So I've got a bunch of resources because I use Zoom in many different ways.
All right, we're up and recording, so I'm gonna hand the host spot back to you.
Awesome. All right, so let's share my screen. So I'm gonna share desktop 1. You should right now, you will see probably a bunch of stuff on my desktop. I see you guys on the side. And I'm going to go into presenter mode. In a minute, there we go. Okay. So I'm going to slide this up. So one of the things, if you see me looking up, just so you know, my video printout for you guys is actually, I run dual monitors. So one is on top of the other. So my camera's right here and all my video is up here. So if you guys are seeing me a little differently or looking up, it's because I'm actually looking at the screen, which I should not be doing. So today we're going to be discussing how to use Zoom effectively. And so what does that really mean? So I want to welcome everybody. Glad that you guys are here. Please use the chat box if you can see where it is. And typically what you would do is you just hover over the Zoom screen and you would go through that. How the Zoom actually looks to me for you guys right now on my other screen is I just get a list of everybody's seeing that. So I can't see your hands up or things like that. So if somebody sends something, sends a note, so you guys can see how this Zoom chat works here. I actually have to go to more, go to chat, and you guys can type some stuff in there. I will have that up on another screen, so actually I will now see them. All right, so welcome everybody. Let's not forget why we are actually here. We're here to really understand how do we use this technology in our businesses, but also how can we do it to have fun? Because in this scary time, we do need a little bit of stress relief as well. So there are going to be some tips on what are some things that we can do fun-wise, but also more importantly, how can we use this in our businesses? So the thing I want to ask right now, and actually I'm going to try to unmute everybody. I can do that. What is it that you want to learn today? What do you want to take away from today's webinar so that we can actually help you in your business, and also connect with other people from networking? So if you don't mind actually typing that in the chat, or we'll go ahead and see how we can unmute everybody. How to communicate with employees. Oh, now I can see how to unmute everybody. All right, so I'm actually going to unmute people. All right, there we go. Now we're unmuting everybody.
Can you guys hear me?
Now we can. Everybody's muted for a minute, so I'm going through and unmuting everybody one at a time. Okay, so you want to learn how to use for interactive board meetings. All right. Excellent, Karen. Communicating with customers. All right. Sean, I'm going to unmute you. Peg, I'm how to communicate with social groups. Rita, do you mind explaining a little bit more what you mean by communicating with social groups? Let's see if I have you in.
I'm going to go down here too.
Right. Joanne, you raised your hand. You don't have anything on your screen but a list of attendees. All right, Peg, let's see.
No, but I got medium bullet. I got 200
what everybody should have on their screen right now is, I'm actually gonna, if we send a personal invitation email to join a meeting, why would we ever need the meeting ID and password? What are they for? Right? Excellent.
That like 3,000 maybe 4,000. I don't know where it is. Not it. What was I in? Oh, I lost.
All right. I did mute everybody back. All right, so you can see the list of questions. Can everybody see the PowerPoint photo on their screen right now? Okay, yes. So everybody, I'm getting thumbs up. I'm getting yeses. Okay. So just looking at what we have here on the chat screen right now that everybody can see, and I'm assuming nobody sent me a private message because there are ways to do that. So I will cover all of these questions as we move forward. So thank you guys for sharing that. So just real quick, what's the agenda? We're, from the welcome, want to talk more about what is Zoom, how does it work, and what can I, or what can you, what can we specifically do with it? And I have, just so you guys know, I have been using Zoom for the past 4 years now in various avenues, from just doing one-on-one conversations to doing a couple hundred people where we're doing webinars, we're putting people into groups, doing breakout sessions. So the versatility of Zoom is quite large. Today, we are only going to talk really about the features of the free version, because there's a lot you can do with the free version that will suffice for what a lot of us need to do when we're interfacing with our customers, and also when we're interfacing just with each other in a networking environment. So some of the nuances, so, what is Zoom, right? And Zoom in and of itself, it's really a remote conferencing service that combines, video conferencing, online meetings, and mobile collaboration. And when we talk about all of that, sometimes it gets a little complicated, and essentially it just comes down to, it's a way for you to connect remotely with someone else or a group of people. And yes, you can do it on various devices. You can use it on your desktop, laptop, you can use it on a tablet, you can use it on your phone. On Monday, I was driving back from a client up north, and I had a Zoom conference call. I did not use the video feature, but as I'm driving from Charlevoix back down to here, I actually connected on my cell phone and just had a video call with someone in Vancouver. Why did I do that versus talk on the phone? I did not get charged any international calls. So Zoom will allow me to communicate with anybody globally, and I'm able to do this just voice over internet. So right through your internet provider, whether it's wireless or not, wireless or data, you can communicate with somebody across the globe and not pay any international fees. So that's a huge win, because the phone call would have cost me $50 unless I didn't have Zoom. So you can use it on multiple platforms. And the other thing to note, going a little fast here, is that you do not need to be connected to the internet to use it. Now, what does that really mean? One of the features of Zoom is the ability to record. And you can actually record these sessions if you wanted to create like a document or a video to your clients. So you wanted to, so in this COVID-19 situation, you want to reach out to your clients and create a quick video just saying, hey, we're still here for you if you have questions. This is a way you can get a hold of us. So in Zoom, you can actually turn the camera on yourself, record the video, and record what you're saying. You can actually do some post editing and stuff, but you can embed that into your email and send a personalized message that way to any of your clients. And that's what the nice feature is about Zoom, is you don't actually have to be connected to the internet to actually use it. And I've done this a lot from creating course content. that I've then uploaded online. So I just wanted to go back to the chat. If anybody has any questions just about what Zoom is, how to use it from that standpoint, go ahead and type those questions in the chat. Sean, I don't know if you can actually see if people have, their hands raised. Depends on the view that you're using. So I want to pause right now. In the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you'll see a little grid box. You can actually, so Joanne Blake has her hand raised. Okay, sweet. Let's go down to Joanne. And unmute Joanne. All right, Joanne, can you hear us? We can, you are now unmuted.
Oh, great, because I'm eating.
You raised your hand. Would you like me to lower your hand?
Oh, yes, lower that hand.
All right, I will lower your hand. So one of the unique features in Zoom is you have the ability to raise your hand. It notes for me that you have a question. And if you don't have a question, if you do have a question, I will go over to you and I will call on you because you asked me to call on you. So Peg raised her hand. All right, Peg, you are now unmuted. What would you like to ask, Peg?
Okay, I still do not have anything but the list of attendees.
That is interesting.
I did that just for you.
You did. All right. So are you running dual monitors?
No.
List of attendees. So what that could be is that the main screen is minimized because the list of attendees will show up on the side.
Okay. No, that's all. That's my whole screen is just the list of attendees.
Just the list of attendees.
Yep. I mean, I can scroll down through them, and then it has buttons at the bottom to chat or invite.
Yeah. Now where is? No, I'm trying to. Because I'm in presenter mode, I don't have the same screen that you guys do right now.
Anyway, it's something I mean, we can work on it later. Just go ahead with the meeting because I can still listen and hear me. So that's good.
Yeah, so there is a way to do that. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. It's, give me a couple minutes and I'll try to figure it out.
Okay, but again, I don't want to hold up the meeting because it's something I'm sure we can adjust later.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Peg. All right, so as I was moving my mouse around, let's go back to here. So, so I don't see any other questions. So I'm going to jump into the next section right now is how does Zoom work? So I'm going to go on the very basics right now of when you set up a Zoom meeting, when you first click on Zoom. So you guys have all downloaded it, so you understand that part. There's a bunch of settings in there that I'm going to minimize the chat screen too. There's a lot of settings in there that a lot of people don't know if they change these settings can actually impact your audio and video quality. So I want to just quickly go over some of these before we actually get into some more of the live sessions that we have planned for it. So when you first click on Zoom, you're going to come up with this screen right here where it's just very generic. You've got new meeting, join, schedule, and share screen. In the upper left-hand corner or right-hand corner, there's a settings button. I'm going to actually walk through each one of these settings and why to click and unclick certain things. It will make your user experience a little more enhanced, if you will. So by clicking on this screen, you come up with this next screen right here that's over on the right-hand side, and you're going to see a list of, what is this, 9 to 10 different options here. And each one of these next slides is actually going to walk through the different settings and why do I have these settings set up like I do. You can then, if you move this screen over, you'll get into your settings as well, and you can actually see what it does or doesn't do for your Zoom as well. So in mine, even though I don't have it clicked use dual monitors, if I did do that, things would show up slightly different for me. Right now, I just always use one monitor for when I'm doing Zoom. But I always want to enter full screen when a participant shares their screen. That way I can actually see that full screen. So if you're full screen, if you can get into those settings and see that, that may be why, Peg, if it isn't clicked on, you may be able to access that full screen. So when I'm sharing my screen as I am right now, otherwise it may be minimized. The reasons I have things scaled, and I am running on a Mac, so this is tailored towards my Mac settings. And the reason why I do side-by-side modes is so I can look at things I can open up multiple windows and slide them side by side. On the video settings, why do I have, so your camera, you can do built-in, you can do different web versions, you can have multiple cameras. It totally depends on how you want it set up. I only have one camera, but if you did have two, you would set it to the one that you always want to have recording. I do always enable HD, especially for when I am recording sessions. Obviously, I want to glam up my appearance for some reason. But you can also turn on and off your video settings when you are joining a meeting. I always turn mine off because I'm typically, when I join a meeting, I'm not sitting down ready for the meeting to start. And I could be running in with a glass of water or some food or whatever. So I always turn it off when I'm joining a meeting. So this is why when some people join the meeting, you do not see their screens or see their faces. It's because they always hide that. Now, there's some other options on there that you can do as well. Now, audio. There are two audios, sections for your audio inside of Zoom. One is in your settings and the other one is actually up on your screen. This audio portion, you can actually turn up and down the actual volume that Zoom will display. So if somebody's talking, so if I'm coming across super loud and you don't want to adjust it from your volume bar down on your keyboard, you can actually adjust it right here. Now, the thing with this is that it will set it, and no matter how much you try to turn up the volume, if it's too low, you'll have to switch over to this screen right here. I do have an external mic that I'm using, so I always want to test the microphone as it is to make sure that the sound quality is good for everyone. So these are just different ways you can actually test your different mics out, how much volume is actually being picked up. So on some webinars, some people it will sound really bad because they haven't adjusted their audio quality from their mic. So this is where you adjust those things. Now, I always join by audio, but I mute also, again, when I'm joining, I also mute my microphone because I have children, I have animals. So when I'm joining, I always try to make sure I'm muted, just because you never know what somebody's going to say, especially when you're joining a meeting. On the next screen, right? So when we go to chat, there is the chat settings, what you want to show, what you don't want to show. I'm not really going to cover a lot in this chat section, only because it is, I pretty much set these and then I just forget them from that standpoint. Now, one of the things inside of Zoom, and this is the free version, is you can actually have a virtual background if you have a green screen. So you can change your settings to, this is the free version. I can actually add more by clicking on this little plus sign right here. I can actually add more settings so that people can actually see what's going on. When I record, when I get into the recording session, so why do I want to record? Because I want to either capture some information and send it out, or I'm trying to create a video for somebody else. I always want to record during screen sharing. So that's why that I always have that clicked. That way it always records what that screen is. Some advanced features I'm not going to cover today in this session. From what that is, it'll just show you like you can get into. Actually, I will cover that when we go into the live portion. Statistics doesn't really mean a whole lot unless you're really getting into the overall bandwidth and CPU and memory that you're using. Your shortcuts, if you want to create shortcuts, these are the defaults. You can change them to whatever you want. Now, these are optimized for a Mac, but for your PC, you can do whatever you need. And then accessibility. I always show my controls in a meeting. I can show subtitles however I need to. Now, when we go over to a new meeting and you click on new meeting, it will automatically create a meeting for you. Now, what you can do is you can actually invite people to this meeting, and up on the top of the meeting, there is a join menu meeting ID. You would email that out to everyone. And where's my participants? So I just want to make sure everybody's muted here. All right, so before I go further, are there any questions that anybody would have? I'm going to zoom over to chat. If you have questions, go ahead and type them in. I want to make sure I'm answering your questions appropriately as I can. And yes, these are some basic things. With that, you guys will get all the slides that'll show just the different settings in case you're not able to go into that. And I'm actually just going to keep going. So if you have questions, just go ahead and type them in. All right. So when you click on new meeting, it will automatically create a brand new meeting. Then what you would do is you would actually scroll down to on the screen, you can invite people, or you can set it up to actually record something on your screen. If you are going to create content that you want to record. So let's just talk, inviting somebody is really simple. You click on who to invite. You can actually add people inside of Zoom, or you can send them an email, you can send them a text. And what they would do is you would highlight the Zoom meeting ID number, which is either up on the top, or when you click invite, it will show you that screen. And somebody, I think Bruce said, hey, if we send a personal invite email to join a meeting, why would we ever need the meeting ID and password? Because this is where it comes in. If you wanted to join a meeting, so like if I'm on the phone or on my tablet, I didn't want to go over to my computer, and somebody sent me a quick text, hey, can you join this Zoom meeting? Here's the ID. I would open up the app, I would click join, and I would paste this meeting ID directly into that field, and it would launch and load up that meeting directly. So those are the times when you would want to do that directly. Now, some people don't have the app, but you can still join on the web, and that would be also another reason why you would need that meeting ID and password. All right. So if we go to, just to show you what that join feature actually looks like, that join a meeting that I was talking about, this is where you would put your meeting ID or link. Now you have the option to don't connect to audio, turn my video off. One nice feature if you are using a mobile device, i.e. your phone or a iPad that has access, has wireless access, it will ask you if you want to connect over your voice over IP, so you're using your data, like internet audio, or if it wants you to dial in and use your minutes. I typically don't want to use my minutes, so I am going to use as much data that I can possibly use. So I always default to join internet, join my audio over internet. And that's a pure personal choice on what you want to do. All right, so if I go to schedule a meeting, so when I schedule a meeting, this is what it would look like. When I click on it, the screen on the right, this is what it's going to look like. And I can set all the times. I can generate a meeting ID automatically. I can actually put in a password if I want people to put in a password. I guess to be a little more specific, why would somebody need a password? When you have personally invited somebody directly, they would not, because they would already be connected in with your contacts and stuff that you've already sent it out to. But let's say they forwarded your information to someone else to join and they're not part of your network, they would have to put in the meeting password to then access your meeting. Now you'll still have record that the attendee showed up, but that is another reason why somebody would need that password as well. And then you can actually, so when you're setting up a meeting, ideally you want it to go to all calendars. My default is a Google Calendar, even though I'm using a Mac. So I found that to be the best, easiest option for most other platforms, especially if somebody's using Outlook or some other calendar invite for them to do that. And then there's some other advanced options that you can use, but there's, from a basic standpoint, this is what you would need to let it go. So I'm gonna pause for a minute. I'm gonna let you guys type in if you have any questions, but I'm actually going to stop now and I'm actually gonna go in to do some live tutorial, or if you guys have any more questions. If you have questions, go ahead, raise your hand. You wanna talk out loud, or if you want to type in anything. So this is going to be your chance to do that. So I'm gonna end the slideshow for a moment. We are going to default back. You will see my messy laptop. So any questions right now? What is the name of a Zoom competitor, from Bruce? Zoom has several competitors. You have WebEx is one of them. GoToWebinar is another one. Trying to think of a few more off the top of my head. I don't use them because I like the features of Zoom better. And we can talk through those. So I was like on a GoToMeeting is really the next biggest one. It doesn't have a video component and it's a lot harder to do screen shares. Gary, your question is on Teams. Teams for, can you be more specific on your questions for Teams? And if you, Teams, is that a competitor? Well, let's find out. I don't know. All right, so, yes, Google Hangout. That was the other one I couldn't think of. So if you guys can see here really quick on the screen, Zoom alternatives, Microsoft Teams is one. I do not know anything about Microsoft Teams. I am familiar with Google Hangout. I know my daughter really wants to use it at 11. We will not let her use that. But it is a nice feature. It is quick, dirty. It does not have the graphics that Zoom does. So Zoom has better video quality and better video recording. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a Zoom affiliate. I don't get any money for promoting Zoom whatsoever. It's just, I have found that to be a lot of, for what I need it for, it is has a lot more functionality on the free side. Zoho meetings, I did not like at all. I've used that for a year. I did not like it at all. GoToMeeting, use that a lot in corporate America. WebEx, use that a lot in corporate America. It really restricts what you can do and share. There is a lot more open platform with Zoom. So with Zoom, I can actually see who's on the screen. I can interface. You guys can raise hands. Yes, you can raise hands and go to meeting. But it is a lot trickier to unmute everybody or unmute a single person. So the technology is just a little more clunky. And the other ones, Blue Jeans, Global Meet, Life Size, I do not know anything about them.
I will say, just from my personal experience, the only one I had used at my previous job was GoToMeeting. I haven't needed it as much so far since we're just the Clarkston area, and I usually don't need to travel more than 5 minutes to meet with anybody that we work with. But I know Gina and Kendall, they recently used Blue Jeans for a separate meeting this week. It's really up to what everybody's using, but I mean, what I've seen over the last 2 weeks, whether it's for social or business purposes, most people have been using Zoom. So for the chamber, we're kind of using that as our go-to now. Not our go-to meeting, Zoom as our online meeting of choice, video conferencing software of choice.
All right, thanks, Sean. If anybody else has anything to say about any of these competitors, you know, their functionality and things like that, feel free to share, because it's, you know, sharing is probably one of the best things that we can do right now. So if you do have things to share or have other questions, Gina, you popped out of chat. You want to be part of the video like it was originally. How do I fix that? Well, it's going to be in your, let's see, where is all my Zoom stuff? I stopped sharing. I could answer your question really quickly because my screen is way different. Actually, Sean, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute so I can answer some of these questions. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to convert it back over to you. I'm going to make you the host for a minute.
Sounds good.
All right. We are still recording. All right. So in the upper right-hand portion of everybody's screen, if you just see the speaker, there is a speaker view. That's like a little box. Actually, this is what I will do. I'm going to print screen. And because this is harder to do when you are the moderator. There's my cat. Okay. So sorry for this. Just want to make sure we're able to answer everybody's questions. All right. Enter in another time. So if anybody has any other questions, feel free to ask. Raise your hand, enter it in chat while I get these slides moved over here. So I'm going to apologize right now to you, Sean, because one of the screen captures I got, your eyes are closed. So
That's all right. I am notorious for that. Just keep the streak going virtually now, right?
Right. Hold on, I'm going to add in another screen right here with another screenshot. So this is the fun part about going live. Let that go. Okay. All right. So let's go back here. All right, I'm going to scroll back up because question popped out. All right, let's go back. We'll share, make me the host again.
All right.
All right, Gina, is your screen back or no? No, it's not back?
No, let me see, check. Nope, it's still like popped out.
It's still popped out. All right.
Mhm.
So is it shrunk down at all into a small little window?
Yeah, like its own little separate
Yep.
window. Even if I hit X and then try to open up the chat again, it's still in its own separate little small window.
Okay. All right. So hold on, I didn't do this right. I got to share my screen.
This might be a silly question, but I liked it when I was on the side.
Yep. Nope. Let's see if we can address this. All right. So I want to make sure we address them because that's what this whole session is for. All right. So this is your screen look like this, where obviously not my desktop, but your video portion look like a little window and down.
No, but I can get it to look like that.
Okay.
Okay, now it is.
So if you get it to look like that, you click on that little arrow, the little square with the arrow to pop up. It should bring you back up to the full screen version.
Oh, this little button. Yes.
All right. Did that pop it back up the way you wanted it?
No.
Okay, good. All right. So the other thing you can do, so it depends on how you have your window here. So I'm going to give you guys I did a quick screenshot. On the upper right-hand corner, there's a it'll either look like the speaker view box where you see everybody, or sorry, Sean, for this photo.
That's all right.
Or you'll see this little grid box here. And what this does is whoever's talking, it will show up for that. And then you can expand, you can minimize stuff this way as well. Did that help you at all, Gina, to get everything back the way you wanted it, moving those views around?
No.
No.
Wait, I think I merged two meeting window. Oh, never mind. I found it.
All right. See, there you go.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. So we've got, looks like we have a question.
Also, just save that so I have a new headshot for the website too.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you exit the full screen, it also helps. So Bruce's comment, if you exit the full screen, it also helps with that.
One thing you might want to go over, I don't know if we talked about with the chat, because you had mentioned the individual chat, that it doesn't necessarily have to go to everybody.
All right. Hey, hold on. I need to erase my annotation. All right. So here's some other features. So I'm assuming you guys can now see that chat window that is now on my screen. Can you guys see the chat in the center of the screen, or no?
Yes.
I do not see that.
So what do you just see? What do you see on the screen?
Oh, to the one to the right of the screen. Right now, I just see the Zoom how to use it effectively slide.
Okay, so over top of that, if you get, well, so if you pop out your Zoom chat window and you look down towards the bottom, and what it should have is the word to, and it should have the word everyone in blue. Now you can send a private message. If you click on the little drop down arrow, you can send a private message to anyone on here saying whatever you want. That is not recorded at all by anyone. It's just meant for you and that other person. So I could type somebody a private message. I could say this webinar is not what I thought it was going to be. And somebody would reply, me neither, or whatever. You can really type in whatever you want and have a private conversation with somebody.
Now, since I'm recording and I've got the Zoom chat up, if somebody private messages me on here, is it going to show on the recording?
No, because what it's doing is it's recording right now. You're recording what's on the screen.
Okay, so it doesn't keep the chat on the recording.
Nope.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. So Gary just sent me a message privately that said testing. Yes. Right, and I don't know if people can see that. You can just see how it shows up, and what it does is it shows up in you. It'll show up in red. So like I could type, I'm gonna just send Gina a message. So it just shows up privately and whatever you want. So yeah, and you are unmuted, Gina, just so you know.
Oh, okay. So good. It's good.
The other thing, if you guys go down there, once you join, where is settings? So once you join, where is the settings? I am going to go back to here. And So Joanne, I'm actually going to unmute you if you are able to talk. Let's see. And oh, I went to the wrong view. Now I know what I'm doing. That was funny. Okay, where is it? Okay, so Joanne, you are actually unmuted. Do you want to explain a little bit more of what you're looking for?
Yeah, actually, I've lost the whole video of this, conference. So I don't know what I did. I had so much stuff on my phone that anyway, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, so once you join, that's, I was able to see that one screen where it had everything that you could do, but I never found it again. Well, as soon as you click on the website to join a meeting, does
Yep.
that screen come up immediately, and then you can do your settings the way you want them, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's all I just have a family thing today at 6, and I just wanted to make sure that I kind of knew what I was doing, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. What I'm doing is I'm just accessing it via my phone right now.
Oh, oh, I'm back. Okay.
Now you're back? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so, all right. So I'm going to mute you back. If I can do that, let's go here. Let's go here. That's how we muted them. All right. So I'm going to stop share again, Sean, and we'll jump over to here. So this is the Zoom. We've got everybody back. And going live. Actually, hold on, I got. So this is a little harder to do in the preview mode. So you've got the settings, you got the share, you got the invite. Yeah, this is harder to do. So if you guys scroll, so what I want you to do right now is, depending on the mode that you have, you should have either the speaker view up or everybody's view up. And then if you move your mouse over the black part of the Zoom screen, you should see, like on your, down in the lower left-hand corner, down by the microphone, if you click on the mute and microphone settings, one of the things when Sean and I were going through this morning, I did not have the right device set up. So I'm going to go through some tips for setting up your microphones. The reason you want to run through these is because the audio quality will sound different. I am using a USB audio device, and I'm not using my internal microphone. Because of that, if you have multiple devices, they will conflict with each other. So you may want to turn one off or turn one on and turn one off, and I have found this to be the case multiple times. And even if you have it set, sometimes it will change back for whatever reason. So if you are always having a problem, if all of a sudden your audio cuts out, it's because one of the devices has switched from, let's say mine would switch from my USB and it would go to my built-in phone. I would not be able to use any of my audio. And then same thing with my speaker. So on the mute side, you can select what speaker output you want. I have a monitor that has speaker output. I have my built-in internal speakers, and it would actually use my microphone as an output. I find that if I change these around, I will not be able to hear anything from anyone. So I have to select what it is that works best for my setup at that point in time. So if I move over to the video portion of things, I can stop the video, record the video. I can record it on different options or different Hold on, my mouse is freaking out on me. Where is it? There it is. Right, there it is. All right, my mouse is freaking out. So if I go over, I can actually use, I can change all my video settings right here, where I can change with a virtual background. I can actually click on the video settings. It pulls everything back up into the settings field for everyone, so that you can, or the settings field, so you can actually adjust your settings on the fly in the video. I'm just walking through here. On the pro version versus the free version, with pro you can actually set it up to have multiple participants and have advanced sharing versus versus only having one person do that with the free version. So with the free version, only one person can host. With the pro version, multiple people can host. And then if you move over and click on record, it will record everything directly. You can select, do you want it to record to the computer or record to the cloud? So you can have it set many different ways, however you want it. Trying to think of what else is there and what else we can do. I don't. Does anybody have any other questions? Because I'm gonna jump back here. No other questions?
Yep.
Okay, so got like 8 minutes left. So I want to run through what can you actually, so Sean, if you want to make me the presenter again.
Yep. Oh, I think you are the
Still am?
host, yeah.
Am I? Oh, I am. So I stopped sharing. All right. All right.
Bruce just asked a question too.
Okay, what was Bruce's question?
Steve, do you foresee Zoom eliminating the free version?
I do not. I see them eliminating features of the free version, but I do not see them eliminating the free version. I doubt they would do that. I doubt they would eliminate the portions of free component right now, but after everything lifts, I see them either adding more features to the paid for versions that make it more lucrative for people to bump up, or they'll start removing some things in the free versions. A lot of different platforms that I've seen lately have introduced more things into free, but for a time period. Meaning they will add in like the ability to, so temporarily what they will do is they would add in, hey, instead of being free for 40 minutes, it'll be free for an hour. And and right now I believe in the free version, I think it's still set at 100 people you can have. The pro version is 100 people. The next version up, I think, is 500 people. And then when you get into the webinars, you can actually host breakout sessions. So which is really cool. But no, as of right now, I do not see them eliminating free at all. So one of the things that, so I want to just kind of quickly break through what can you actually do with this, with Zoom in the versions that are for free. So right now, obviously the easiest thing to do is it is quick and easy to chat with your family and friends. My brother and his wife, they are younger, quite a bit younger. And what they do is they have their happy hours. They still have their social happy hour, but they use Zoom to have their happy hours with their friends that they normally would go out with. With things being the way they are right now, our Easter is going to be done via Zoom. So all the families can get on Zoom and they can, you can still have a meal together, have your conversations. Everybody would set up their laptops so that you can see them, so that instead of having, my family's rather large, so there would be 30 of us in a house. coming from 2 different states just to get together at my mom's house. So we would be using Zoom. Now every family would be on there. So we'd have 7 different screens that would actually show all the different people attending. So that is one way you could use it. The other way that you would use this is obviously to run a meeting such as we are today, where you can share slides, you can have interactive discussions, people can raise their hands and talk. It is very effective for doing that. Now, as you increase in your versions from free to paid, there's obviously more options that you can use. You can poll, you can share different polling statistics, you can put people in breakout sessions, but in the free version, you do not have that option. The other thing you can do is, and this is what I do, is when I'm running a webinar, is in this scenario, in the pro version, you can actually turn everybody's camera off, turn everybody's microphones off, and you just run an online webinar, and then open it back up at the end for questions and answers. So like why you would do that, how you would do that. So like if the chamber actually hosted like a lunch and learn where somebody was to come in and talk for 20-30 minutes, everybody would bring in their lunch, you would have, everybody's muted so they can eat, it's not distracting, and then somebody's presenting their information, you have the ability to record it, make it available for everybody, and then at the end you open it up for questions and answers. And then the other way to use that is actually to record a presentation. So you can evergreen things, which means you could say, Dr. Bruce, you wanted to put out an announcement, or why it's important for kids to brush their teeth every single day, 4 times a day or something like that. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But it would just be, you would record that, maybe record how to, the best practices for brushing your teeth for children, and maybe some tips for parents to, get their kids to brush their teeth. But those are things that you could actually record and actually show right on screen. And then that would become available. You would save that and have that for anyone to do that. Could you go over step by step on how to initiate a meeting? Yes, Pamela, I will go back over and do that in a second. So actually that leads us right to the questions and takeaways. So I am going to back up really quick to answer Pamela's question here. So Pamela, when you initially go to Zoom and you launch Zoom for whatever platform you're on, you would go into your computer, you would, and because I'm on Zoom right now, I can't launch a meeting to walk you through that. But what I would do here is I would either click on new meeting, or I would schedule a meeting. And if I clicked on a new meeting, actually, if I clicked on a new meeting, I would get this screen. So if I click on new meeting here, and then, there we are. So if I click on new meeting, it will open up the screen. It'll automatically start a meeting, and then I can share with people the meeting ID, or I can go down to the bottom of the screen down here, and I can actually load up an invite, and I can actually type in somebody's name. Or if I click on schedule a meeting, where's my schedule a meeting? There it is. So if I click on schedule a meeting, it'll automatically show up, and it'll put it on my calendar. It'll automatically show up as a calendar. It goes to my Google Calendar, and then I can actually invite people inside of, I'm going to use Google as an example. I can actually send out invites and add people that way to my Google Calendar. So hopefully that answers the question. Yes, it was rather quick, but I can put together step-by-step instructions for you on that. All right, anybody else have any other questions? And Sean, if I'm going to turn this back over to you.
Yep.
So I am going to stop sharing. I am going to make you the host.
Thank you. If nobody has any other questions, I just want to say thanks again to Steve for putting this together for us today and presenting to everybody.
Thank you.
I tried to add a link to the COVID-19 resources page, but I don't think it's sent. I
No,
don't
it
know,
did.
it looks like it cut it off there.
No, it's there. The whole thing.
What's that?
It's there.
Okay. Maybe mine just shows us cut off right now. That's all right. But again, that's on our website, clarkston.org, and then the text is COVID-19 resources and updates. We've got information. I'll be sure to add this to that page as well whenever we get the video link up and running so everybody can take a look if there's anything you need to rewind and take a second look at. But otherwise, like I said, all information lives there. And thanks again to Steve for hosting this today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
All right, you guys have a good one.
You too. Thanks. I'm going to go ahead and end it and shut out everybody.
Yep. So go ahead and stop the recording first.
Thank you.